Rivers women back Tinubu's emergency rule. Spark outrage, that's it, or that's the headline. In a dramatic twist to the ongoing political crisis in Rivers State, a group of women staged a peaceful protest on Monday in Port Harcourt, boldly declaring their support for the state of emergency declared by President Bola Tinubu. The demonstrators, dressed in symbolic white attire, carried placards with striking messages, including "State of emergency is constitutional" and "No tribal war in Rivers State, no more Fubara." Barrister, okay, the news goes on, but I don't want to go waste time on that. Barrister, when I read this news, I just shook my head. I just don't understand, we Nigerians, why we have chosen to be a cause to ourselves, why we have chosen to be an antagonist, why we have chosen to be antagonists to ourselves, why we have chosen to actually to be detrimental to our long-term interest, because all we are after is just an immediate benefit, something that is just for today, just one meal, for just put 1 meal on, just like what what's his name, Esau did in the Bible. For God's sake, just 1 meal. You are very, very hungry. You just sold your birthright for just 1 meal. Then forgetting that 1 meal, you will get hungry again. Well, after eating that meal, you sleep and wake up. The next day, you begin to feel another hungry, looking for other food. Nigerians, we are so dependent, we are so focused on today, not our tomorrow. What is going on? Because all these things is because obviously they were bought. You can't, nobody in his or her right senses will support Tinubu's government. So obviously, when you see something like this, they were paid to do that. Yet, but I don't understand why Nigerians will always give in to corruption for the purpose of just having a 1 meal on the table, just 1 meal, one-time meal. Barrister.
Well, just like you said, there was a demonstration along that lines, and you quite rightly summarized that, yes, it was sponsored. There was also another demonstration in Rivers calling for Fubara to be reinstated. I don't know if you didn't get that one.
Yes.
Within the same week.
I got that, yes.
That was the one that you can say was not sponsored. People
Correct.
came out. But the one that came out with women saying they agree with the state of emergency, they agree with the other things. Of course, you know the contending factors in Rivers. Even as the state of emergency is on, you know they are still scheming to extend it after the 6 months so that Fubara will not come back, and if possible, deny him the comeback altogether. So I am not surprised. The level of poverty in Nigeria is such that even a madman can organize something if he can get money to give some people. And people will line up and follow him, even if he's naked. I'm telling you that even if you are naked on the street, but you have some people organize and give people money to clap for you while you are, people will come out in their numbers. That is the level of poverty. They are not even much, just a little bit that will be given to them. They will come out. That is the level of poverty. I saw something on the status. It says that somebody was praying that he's praying that poverty should not catch him to such an extent that he will fight against the truth. So you will see, it struck me as what is happening in Nigeria today. It's not as if these people do not know the truth, but the poverty has driven them to such an extent that they are fighting against the truth just to survive, just to survive. That's just a summary of it. And so it does not surprise me that people can come out and demonstrate against the truth that is there in Rivers State.
And this is the reason why our leaders have refused. That's why it is deliberate that they are not making the economy not to work for the average Nigerian. It is deliberate that they are actually impoverished, that Nigerians are impoverished. It is deliberate that Nigerian things are not working out for Nigerians. Because again, just like you pointed, that's exactly it. Because when you are somebody can do anything when he or she is hungry. Somebody can cave into the worst, cave into doing the right thing, even cave into doing the worst thing against what is clearly the right thing to be done.
Against his own conscience.
Correct. Against, that's the right word, against his own conscience, his or her conscience. A sort of, so that's exactly the same, and the same policy that the Democrat Party in the US are doing. Because they believe in handouts. They believe in government be handing out benefits to people. The populace depending on the government for handouts. And that is the problem. That is the secret of evil leaders. The secret weapon that the evil leaders keep perpetrating on the lead. And back in Nigeria, the same issue, that's the same thing they are doing, because they always want the population that will always come, that will depend, that they can manipulate, they can control. That's exactly what is happening, unfortunately. It is so sad. But I just wish people will actually damn the consequences of this hunger sometimes. It is difficult. I understand that. It is difficult, and it is not undoable. People have dared the consequences of doing the right thing to actually stand on the right path of history. Honestly, I just wish people can summon that courage to do that. I know someone will say, okay, it's easier said than done. You've not experienced that. That is why I bet you don't judge me, because you don't know where I'm coming from. We all at one point in time has experienced that very, very probably the lowest form of deprivation. So we've been there before, and we know what we did, how we stood up to the situation, So it can be done, and that's why I'm very sure it can be done. All we need is to have a strong will and courage to do the right thing, even in the midst of such temptations. You want to say
remember when we were discussing, and I mentioned the fact that one of the reasons why democracy cannot survive in Nigeria, I mentioned number one, I mentioned the lack of an enlightened electorate.
Yeah.
And the second issue I mentioned was that there must be a minimum economic level. If the poverty is extreme, the democracy cannot survive.
Yeah.
And that is why our political leaders, they know this, they understand the dynamics of poverty. So they are happy to keep the people in extreme poor conditions, so that they can come and manipulate them, manipulate their thinking, manipulate their understanding of issues, dash them a little thing, and they get away with it. It is that bad in Nigeria. Votes can be bought for as little as 500 naira. 500 naira that cannot even buy you a meal in Nigeria today. Still, they are using it to buy votes. So that extreme poverty is antithetical to democracy. And I mentioned that the US, the contradictions in the US would have come to the fore much, much more strongly if the if the poverty level in the US was so down. You would have seen something different. You would have seen attack on the democratic process. You could have seen lack of faith in it. But there is a minimum level of, poverty. There is a level of prosperity in the US that cushions that effect of poverty, that enables the democracy or the facade of it to continue to be appealable to the US citizens and attractive to the rest of the world. We don't have that in Nigeria.